Here's the wake-up call with Reverend Horace Sheffield. Rise up, wake up, let the truth be told. The wake-up call. It's the wake-up call with Reverend Horace Sheffield. Rise up, wake up, let the truth be told. The wake-up call. Reverend Horace Sheffield. Rise up, wake up.
All right. All right. I can't hear myself at all. Hello. There we go. Now we're good. And by the way, we got Ike Turner and the Turnerettes in here in the morning. I don't know who's Ike and I don't know who's Tina. Sound not quite right yet, but we'll get there. Good morning, cast of characters. We're welcoming back Chantel Watkins. She's so busy organizing stuff. Well, one thing we know, we won't have the pep walk today. What do they call the perp walk today? Or was that the catwalk?
Perp walk is when you're getting out of bed.
I know what perp is, but she ought to be arrested for that walk. You know, that's what I'm trying to say.
Be nice. Good morning.
Want to welcome Ed Collins to the show. And Ed is a classmate of mine, football teammate of mine, Big Ed. Ed would knock him down and stand over him and say, I dare you to get back up.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do, isn't it?
Yeah. We had much easier time going to basketball games when Ed was at Cass because, you know, he was going to beat them up, not let them beat us up.
Period.
And, of course, David Felton, the apostolic genius here, you know.
Good morning.
I don't know. You speak in tongues, David?
I have had that experience.
Oh, you've had that. Do you do it regularly like that? Some folk do every Sunday.
I do it when the Spirit moves.
When the
upon
Spirit
me.
moves you. Okay, all right.
I used to speak in tongues when I got that
All
whooping.
right. No,
Yeah, we different kind of tongues, man.
we not talking.
And again, Chantel Watkins is our organizer. We're getting ready for the NAACP dinner.
Yes. Good morning.
And today we've got a great lineup. You know, I'm telling everybody, if you haven't signed up, you're not going to be able to get in. Everybody and their mama wants special tickets. But we've got Ben Crumpets in town. We have 300 of his books. It just became a New York Times best-selling book this week.
Great.
And we also have Michael Eck Dyson.
Yep.
And we also have Angela Yee.
Yes.
All-star lineup.
There we go, man. There we go. And I've got
Alexis
Kerr, who was vice president of Hallmark, now Honda, who will be the moderator. So, and we've got a great show coming up. What's that date in May where we got Christopher Williams? May 6th.
Period. I know that's right.
And I heard about 5 of these OGs here, so they're getting special outfits. And gonna sit near the front.
Amen.
You know what I mean? So, any rate, we're gonna welcome to our show. I know we know. By the way, just checking. What's going on with you?
You know, I haven't seen a lot of y'all, but I'm getting married.
Yeah, and guess who she marrying? Y'all know who she marrying?
A very nice man.
She married my son. Yeah, that's why she got a job over here. She got hired in here so she can sneak into my family, you know.
Well, it was a surprise to Rev.
Yeah, a big surprise. I had to sit that boy down. I said, now what size shoes you wear? He said 13. I said, well, you gotta learn how to put them down sometime, boy. Put them shoes down, boy. My grandmama was a great woman. She said, don't ever let a woman run you, because when she run you, she'll run away and find somebody else to run over. Hello, somebody. Yeah. And then my granddaddy took me to the back. He said, every now and then you got to tell them no.
That's right.
I said, why? He said, because they got to know you got a no in you.
There
He
you
said,
go.
but just make sure it's the right no. Lindsay, go get me a cup of water.
You preaching now, for real.
Well, we're having a good time.
All right, let's keep moving. What's up with you, Dave?
Not much, man. Just happy to be here. I'm in the land of the living. And it's a good weekend this weekend, and excited about. This is like my 10th year, ladies and gentlemen, being part of Daybo. So in 2016, I met Reverend Sheffield around the holidays. We're doing some work here, and I really didn't care for him prior to meeting him personally because I didn't
don't
know
care
him.
for you after I met you, but go ahead.
Because I didn't really know him, but he's a giving man. He's an intelligent man. I really appreciate the last experience. Had a very, very positive impact on my life. Believe it or not.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell you. My mother had me read all these great things, and I tell people all the time. One of the seminal works. It's not a long read. It's about 4 paragraphs that everybody ought to read. Is by a guy by the name of Ralph Van Ness, Ness, and he has a piece called "Regardless of Others." And I would come home and complain about what folks are doing, and you ought to read that. Whatever we do, whatever we've been called to do, we ought to do it regardless of others.
Yes, sir.
I mean, God blesses us regardless of who we are and how we treat him. And your check in, and we're gonna move on.
Well, I'm just saying that I'm agreeing with you, but I've had this conversation more than once, and it's about truth. And I'll swear that truth lies within a person's heart. You know, your mouth can say anything. That's what we used to say in Detroit. That's what your mouth say. You can pretend on the outside, but your truth is in your heart, and then the Lord and yourself both know that.
Yeah, but it's also a sits and Laban is your setting in life, right?
Yeah.
Because the problem we have is we don't accept that your truth may not be my truth.
And we all have our own individual truth.
Because your truth was you was the finest guy in high school, but the truth was I was.
Well, all we gotta do is look at the record books.
And that was in your heart.
Look.
We have a new director, the chief public health officer and director of the Detroit Health Department, Ali Abazi. Did I get that right?
You got it right, Rev.
Well,
You got it
man,
right.
yeah, the champ is here. Ali, the champ is here. Tell us what Ali means. What is the significance of the name?
So, Rev, it's such an honor to be on your show. Unlike Dave, before I met you, I liked you, and
you can come back.
I like you a bit more now.
Yeah.
So Ali is the name of the prophet in Islam, his nephew,
Right.
and cousin, and so it's a name that has reverence in our
Yeah.
culture. My parents actually named me Muhammad Ali.
Oh, wow.
Growing up.
Should have kept that, man.
My legal name's Ali, but Muhammad Ali is the name my dad wanted to give me.
Yeah, the champ is here, man. That's but I don't want to dwell on that, but God is good because he was vilified, and all the stuff he went through. But the stone that was rejected became the chief cornerstone. He did get his due before he died. I'm glad.
Yeah.
So you knew you were appointed by Madam Mayor Mary Sheffield, and you're at the health department and the chief public health officer. Tell me what that entails.
About a month and a half ago, I had the honor of being appointed by Madam Mayor as the City of Detroit's new Chief Public Health Officer and Health Director. And so I head up the health department. We have a 300 or so person health department here in the city of Detroit. We do everything from environmental health and inspections to maternal child and child health to community health, childhood-led services, all the range of stuff that you typically all remember the old Herman Kiefer building.
Absolutely.
When my parents first came to this country, they used to take us to that. I was born in Detroit, raised in Dearborn, and it's that Herman Kiefer model. We're no longer at Herman Kiefer, but we do all of that work out in the community.
Yeah.
We're currently at 100 MAC. That's where the health department is. But I'm really excited, Rev, because we're taking a new approach to public health in the city of Detroit. We're calling it the health and all policies approach. And what that basically means is, take for example, a kid who has childhood asthma. I had asthma growing up. No family experiences that childhood asthma as just sort of a clinical thing in a hospital or in a clinic. It's also related to transportation. Do you have transportation? Do you have economic resources at home? And so we're putting health tentacles in consideration across everything in city government, from police and fire to transportation to buildings. All of it is considered health.
So I think it's important to just put everything in context because I've been dealing with the health department for years. We got grants for substance use disorders from them. And so there was a point that all that was shut down, the Institute of Population Health. I mean, this whole notion of the city getting out of the health business, but we're back in business.
Back in business and stronger than ever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just that the health department is back. It's that now every director head, as the mayor has mandated, every department now needs to be thinking with a health lens. Because again, that's just how people experience health.
Mhm.
Detroiters' health is not inevitable. It's not something that, God decreed that we have some of the worst asthma rates or some of the worst air quality or some of the worst maternal mortality or infant mortality. That's not given or ordained by anyone or anything. That's designed by man, by decades, if not centuries, of policies that have excluded people, segregation, Jim Crow, fair housing laws. All of those things contribute to how people experience health in 2026. And so that's the way that I think about health. That's the way that I'm re-architecting the health department so that we think about these things. And I couldn't be more excited.
And there are things that are environmental, and I'll move on. The environmental, the neighborhood my grandparents owned a home in was right near Lear. And my grandmother gardened, and years later we discovered that all of the chemicals spilled into the soil. We've got that kind of stuff. But when you talk about asthma, all of the open fields and homes that we're here. So these are things that contribute to some of the stuff that you're talking about. Ed?
Yes, I'm looking at our. We do have leading questions and whatnot, and your RX program. I'm interested in what that's about, and I also want to include. Are we going to do anything about reinstating, because the health department of the government is saying no vaccines? That's very
You mean
important.
the federal government?
The federal government.
Kennedy has an issue with vaccines.
Well, and are we going to continue that program with young people? Because our kids really need to be protected with all the stuff that's out there.
Yeah. Look, there's a couple things to say about that. One is, and I'll start on the vaccines. The science around vaccines is determined.
Indisputable.
It's indisputable. It's there. Vaccines are safe. Vaccines are effective. We know all of that. We live in the era of the algorithm. I'm not, Rev, you're not. No one here is going to be stronger than the algorithm. That's a much bigger societal issue. And so you click on a thing that says vaccine causes this thing, or one person. That's not something you or I are going to defeat on our own. The way that I think about public health, though, is there's a lot of people in my field in public health that they believe in sort of scientific finger wagging. Let me wag my finger at you. How dare you not get that vaccine? How dare you this? People don't always understand the latest science and the latest evidence.
Yeah.
It's our job in public health to understand why it is that people feel hesitant not to get a vaccine, why it is they feel hesitant not to do something that science says is very safe. I believe that public health is only as strong as our prediction of human behavior is right. And so if I know that someone is skeptical of the science, it's my job in public health to go out there to do everything in my power to show people that it is effective, and here's how and here's why. And so I'm less interested in wagging my finger at people, and a lot more interested in, I want you to be safe. I want you to be healthy. And I also want you to know that these things are safe. And so, we offer vaccines at the Detroit Health Department. You can walk on in 100 meg. They're safe. They're effective. And we encourage and hope people
So
do
it's
come
up to
there.
family choice then.
It's parents ultimately have the choice on everything,
Right.
and that's something that I believe in.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's public health's job to get families to want to
Exactly.
believe in the
And
science
it's
of
our
vaccines.
responsibility. We do that here all the time. We were very involved in the COVID vaccination. You got to take on head on all of the scuttlebutt that's going on, right? Because I know we've had issues as a people of color with things that have happened, and I can name many besides Tuskegee Airmen or
Right.
Tuskegee experiment.
Right.
So, but the reality is that these are trusted. When we were kids, we got vaccinations in the schools.
Right.
In the schools, So, David, you're next.
Again, thanks for joining us this morning. You talked about public trust, and of course, I would hate to always bring race into it, but as a people, African Americans and Black folks are relational. And how do you go about spreading the message of public health in a positive sense without having a cookie cutter approach? Do you know what I mean? Instead of just putting everybody, generally speaking, and just actually treating each person as a person so you can be effective.
I'm smirking because I love that question. I talk about race without flinching. I mean, I think in public health, you also have to be able to talk about these things. And, everyone's always like hemming and hawing and like walking on eggshells. There's a reason why Black maternal mortality is 5 times higher than it is among white women. There's a reason why asthma rates are 4 times higher among Black people than they are among white people. There's a reason why air quality in Detroit is as bad as it is, and it's not that bad in Bloomfield Hills or Novi or Northville. Race is at the center of a lot of these things. And race is not something that was architected in 2026. Again, we're talking decades, centuries of policies created and designed by man. Here's the exciting part for me is anything that man created, we can redesign. And so that's what I'm really excited about when it comes to government and policy. When it comes to, public health approach, you can't be taking a cookie cutter approach. You can't be taking I'm going to treat Dave, even like Rev, even like, you have to treat it not just with race, you have to treat it with a culturally competent approach. How do you treat District 4 the same way that, or a different way than District 7? How do you recognize that, what people are experiencing in District 1 might be different than what people are experiencing in District 5? And so for me, though, I don't shy away from the racial elements. I don't shy away from the working class elements. I don't shy away from the fact that different people, they come to, life with they're a collage of their experiences. My parents are Syrian refugees. My father was a professor in his native Syria. And at the time in the 70s, if you know anything about that region, he spoke out against that government. That's a big no-no in an autocratic government. And so my dad was harassed, arrested, tortured, all the things, forced out of the country. They ended up seeking asylum in the United States in the late 80s. And then when they got here, they faced deportation because they didn't have their papers. Damascus, the capital of Syria, the government there said, well, come get your papers. And basically that meant come get your papers and no one will ever see you again. And, my dad, who was a professor, again, he drove a cab in Detroit for 25 years. And so I also know something about what it's like when people use their bodies for work. What it's like when you're no longer using your mind in a classroom, but you're using your body driving a cab. And so my dad actually ran into a senator at Cobo Hall, car 11, by happenstance, explained the situation to Senator Levin. And Senator Car 11 is a big reason why my family's still in this country today. I share that because where people are, where they grow up, what they do, what color their skin is, all of that blends and braids into how their health outcomes look like. And so, we take that customized approach, and at least I do.
And that helps you with the lens through which you view all of this. But I want to get back to RX Kids. Yep. We didn't really unpack that. Mm-hmm. That's a very potent, palatable, powerful thing that's being done, and explain it.
RX Kids, I moved, I was in Washington, D.C. for about 5 years. I moved back to the state in 2022. And I actually started and founded a health department in Dearborn, my hometown. That's why I moved back to the state. And I was, 4 or 5 months into that job, and I was driving in the car. And on the radio, I heard this announcement that this new program is starting, and it's called RX Kids. And it was Dr. Mona Hanna of the Flint Water Crisis, Dr. Mona. And it's her program. She co-founded it with Dr. Luke Schaefer, who I'm so lucky to have as a colleague in Detroit. And RX Kids is the first of its kind in the country. Cash prescription program. It's called RX Kids because the idea is that if there's a way for us to prescribe away poverty, this is it. The evidence globally on giving people cash, unconditional, universal, it's overwhelming. Only in this country is it deemed a radical idea. And we had this during
It's only deemed radical for us.
It's only
deemed radical for the senators and all the rich folk. We give them money all the freaking time.
They call that a tax credit. They call it, something a little more complicated than cash.
Right.
But you're exactly right, Rev. People are getting the cash. They just call it something different. Yeah. And so RX Kids is a program that is available now in the city of Detroit, started off in Flint. And again, the idea is that if you're giving people universal unconditional cash, they're spending it on the important things during pregnancy, diapers, their utility bills, transportation. And so it started off in Flint, where anyone 16 weeks pregnant and more is eligible for a $1,500 cash infusion. And then the first 6 months of that kid's life, you get $500 cash every single month. Madam Mayor brought this program. It was her first big announcement in the city of Detroit in her first month on the job. And I cannot wait for the results in Detroit. Yeah. We're already seeing some amazing results in Flint.
Speaking of RX Kids, that's my son Horace, the fourth there. And she just announced she was marrying you, and his RX cost was far more than $2,000. Chantel.
Yes. So as a mom, I think this program is amazing, right? I had my baby during COVID, and that was a very difficult time to, have a child. So can you tell us how this is available to families, how they sign up for this program? And you did say that, there's no conditions on what they spend the money for. And can you as a mom, people always want to say, oh, they're probably spending it on like their hair and nails and stuff. But what are people actually spending this money on?
I get that question all the time. Like, why? And by the way, it's not my program. I want to give flowers to the person that Dr. Mona Hanna created this program. And it's an amazing program that we see across 40 communities now in Michigan, the entire Upper Peninsula, for example. I brought this program to the city of Dearborn. Madam Mayor brought it to the city of Detroit in her first month. And so, the way that people find out about this is word of mouth. rxkids.org. It's about a 20-minute application. It's very easy. Approvals happen a couple weeks later. But if you're 16 weeks pregnant or more now, you go to rxkids.org, you apply, you get that cash, $1,500 cash straight to you. And if you had a kid born anytime after January 1st, you're still eligible for that $500 a month for the first 6 months of that kid's life. Now, again, there's global evidence that what mothers spend that money on is the stuff that's necessary to sustain both that kid's life and also keep the mom healthy as well. We had during the pandemic, if you all recall, the expanded child tax credit. That's something that Dr. Luke Schaefer really pioneered. And what that was basically, you get this tax credit during tax season. And what we found out is that program itself reduced childhood poverty in this country by 50%. But of course, because America is America, we got rid of something that works really, really well. But we found out something that during that expanded child tax credit, that mothers weren't spending it on what, I don't know, liquor or, drug. They were spending it on diapers. They're spending it on their utility bills, their cell phone bills. They're spending it on bus tickets or vouchers or whatever it was in their communities across the country. We now know, based on Flint and other cities in Michigan, what parents are spending it on. It's the same exact thing. It's a program that's built on hope and trust and love. If you give people the trust that here's the cash, they're going to spend it on their kids. Yeah. And we're seeing reductions in preterm birth rates. We're seeing reductions in NICU admissions. We're seeing 91% in Flint reduction in evictions. I mean, these things cut across health and also society. And so I can't wait for the data to come out in Detroit.
Yeah. Well, we're not worried about how they spend our money. They took our tax credits and took a boat to Epstein's, what's his name? Epstein's Island. Two things. One is, if you're listening and you don't have access to a computer or technology, we are a technology hub, both through United Way and Comcast. So you can come to our office at 16501 Wyoming. We have computers there. We have community health workers there who will actually assist you in signing up for those kind of things. The second thing I want to talk about is what we've tried to do. We have our own clinic here. Aaron just walked in. He's a community health worker. We have about 14 people that Davo pays as the community health workers, nurse practitioner, nurses, and all of that. We're expanding our clinic. Over here where we are, my good friend, well, that's true for the city. There's only like one primary care practitioner per 5,000. There's no urgent cares in this area. We've been working with Corwell, by the way. They gave us a major grant to do some things to assist us in that regard. How do we, because that's so important. And number one, we don't necessarily access primary care folks as we should. Right. We use the emergency rooms. How do we cut down on it? How do we make any impact on that lack of access to primary care physicians?
Government's not going to replace the healthcare model in this country. At the same time, government has a role to play in what I like to call, how do we demystify? How do we make less complicated for the everyday person what the healthcare system in America is? It's my firm belief that government everywhere has to do a better job of not you all coming to City Hall, but City Hall coming to you. Mm-hmm. And so the mayor has made this very, very clear that her focus is on the neighborhoods. We've seen prosperity in downtown. Now it's time to take that prosperity to the neighborhoods. And so I don't know if you all remember that line from the Jadakiss song of "Be Outside." That's my department's official. It was first unofficial, but now it's about to be official slogan. Is "Be outside." Public health doesn't belong behind a computer, doesn't belong in a desk somewhere. If you're in public health, and we're not like white collared workers. We shouldn't be white collared workers. Public health has become a little bit too white collared. It's one of my critiques of the field. But we got to be outside. We got to be in the communities and the neighborhoods. I'll tell you, Rev, I've even, in our in my first month on the job, we've had these charter mandated meetings, and we've been taking them all. And Madam Mayor is doing all of them in April. And we've been going around every single district in Detroit. And so I'm hearing from every single district in Detroit from 1 to 7. And what I'm hearing is the same thing. It's that question of, how do I better get in touch with the health department? And so the model that I'm working on building is working with organizations like yours. How do we not create something at the health department that we don't got to create? If you have a good model, bring it to us. We want to help you take it to the neighborhood, especially if it's something mobile, especially if it's going to help replace that primary clinic and take it to the neighborhoods. And then we want people to access the no wrong door policy. If you touch the health department for high blood pressure, we want you to know, do you have someone pregnant in the family? Here's RX Kids. Did you know that there's childhood-led programs? Do you know that we have free car seats available for mothers too at the health department? All these things is about communicating to people, taking them to the neighborhoods.
So we had a HRSA grant during COVID, and we vaccinated a lot of folks. I worked with Dr. Levy from the very beginning. One of the frustrations I already had, and I've shared this with Tiffany over and over again, there's really no overall coordination. You got Wayne Health right now has multiple organizations funded for mobile health. We go out, my wife goes out, she's a family nurse practitioner. We go to senior centers and all that. I think at some point you need to pull everybody together and say, look, let's coordinate this so that we're not operating, in different silos, but we're working together so that the whole city gets the kind of coverage and attention that it needs to have.
Well, can I get your commitment now?
Oh,
That you're gonna help sort of put that together?
Yeah, I'm all in.
We got to throw everyone in the same room. You're right.
We've got to do that. And part of the problems we have often, my good friend, is that people think if I collaborate, it's going to affect my funding.
Right.
I got money to do this, and if I do it and show my numbers, I'm going to be refunded. But we're spending a ton of money, almost $800,000 on this building, and that clinic is going to be tripled, and it will be near. The whole thing is being reconfigured. So we love to help.
Yeah.
Okay, Dave. Ed, you got the last question.
Well, I'm going to throw this out there. The city owns a lot of properties, so why not see if we can somehow convert those to urgent care centers?
Yeah, but the city's not in the business of building urgent care. Those are private enterprises.
I understand that, but
I think what the city can do, I don't mean to cut you off, is what we just talked about. How do we coordinate care so that these things work together and not in competition, right? At the end of the day. You got 2 minutes or so left. If you had an overall vision for the imprimatur or your imprimatur upon the health department, what would it look like in 3 years?
I want people to see that government isn't a bugaboo when it comes to health. I want people to know that, there's a health department now that's in place that, I'm working ruthlessly every day to make sure that we're re-architecting the DNA of the health department to serve Detroiters. I love this work. I believe that public health is the best way to uproot the, orchards of racial supremacy across this country. Public health is the best interrupter of intergenerational poverty. I think if you exercise public health the right way, you're able to do a lot of things. And for me, again, recognizing that I'm a social justice person, I found a way to bring that into the work of public health. And so for me, it's about centering people closest to the pain. And so if you're someone who's out there and you're pregnant at the moment, rxkids.org, don't have access to technology, the good Rev has resources here at the technological hubs. If you have any programs or if you have any issues related to maternal and child health, the health department's here for you. If you need a car seat, we're here for you. If you need access to recognize how do you get a housing voucher, that's not my department, but the health and all policies approach means get in touch with us and we'll connect you to the right people within city government. No wrong door means no wrong door.
All things to all people according to their needs. So let's just close on this because you hit a nerve for me because we've had to change our name. We've lost 4 of our 6 SAMHSA grants. The McGregor Foundation and Huntington and others have stepped up to try to make up for that loss. Altogether, we've lost about $1.6 million, primarily in the area of health, because of our name. So when you talk about, you know, your lens and you know your focus, how does that affect you with respect to the administration in Washington?
You know, I think savvy people that are in the work for justice got to be a little savvier.
Yeah.
And so, you know, if we're recognizing that there are certain forces here in the country that are working in certain ways, shame on us if we're not changing our approach. I'm not saying water it down or dilute it. I'm saying we got to be a little bit savvier too.
Yeah.
You know, I'm part of, you know, sort of, you know, I come to this work with a grassroots organizing approach. That's the world that I come from. And so for me, it's recognizing that if there's something going on federally, if there's something going on anywhere across the country or the state, we got to be a little bit savvier. The people that are working to make this world a worse place are working 24/7.
Yeah.
If we're not working 36/7, we're not going to beat them. And so for me, I think we also got to do a little bit more work together and stop being so fragmented.
All right, we talked with the good director of our health department, also Chief Public Officer Ali Abizi. We'll be right back after this.
You've been listening to
Here's the wake up call with Reverend Horace Sheffield. Rise up, wake up, let the truth be told. The wake up call.
This is Super Bowl champion Lomas Brown, and I get my Saturday morning wake-up call from Reverend Horace Sheffield, my man.
This is Grover Kings, and I get my wake-up call from Reverend Horace Sheffield every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 101.5 FM or 1500 a.m. The wake-up call with the Reverend Horace Sheffield.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's your girl, Randy Rosario, comedian and TV host. I get my Saturday wake-up call with my guy, Reverend Horace Sheffield. Think about it. Good day.
I'm Sheriff Raphael Washington, Wayne County, and I get my Saturday morning wake-up every Saturday morning from Reverend Horace Sheffield, and you should too.
Every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 101.5 FM or 1500 a.m. The wake-up call with the Reverend Horace Sheffield.
Hello, everybody. This is your girl, Erica Alexander, and every Saturday morning, I get my wake-up call with Reverend Sheffield. Make sure you go on and get some of that. All right? What is that? Is that someone called? Is it Saturday?
Every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 101.5 FM or 1500 a.m. The wake-up call with the Reverend Horace Sheffield.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your man Mike Epps, and I get my Saturday morning wake-up call from Reverend Sheffield. Make sure you get yours.
I'm Hester Wheeler, and I get my Saturday morning wake-up call from Reverend Horace Sheffield.
Every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 101.5 FM or 1500 a.m. The wake-up call with the Reverend Horace Sheffield.
This is Super Bowl champion Lomas Brown, and I get my Saturday morning wake-up call from Reverend Horace Sheffield, my man.
This is Grover Kings, and I get my wake-up call from Reverend Horace Sheffield every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 101.5 FM or 1500 a.m. The wake-up call with the Reverend Horace Sheffield.
You've been listening to
Here's the wake up call with Reverend Horace Sheffield. Rise up, wake up, let the truth be told. The wake up call. It's the wake up call.
Good morning, everybody. It's Chantel Watkins. I'm back on the wake up call. It's so good to see all of you. Before we get into our next guest, I do want to remind everybody that we do have the Daybo free store this weekend. It is 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on 16501 Wyoming Avenue, and you can get up to 10 free items for each individual that comes in. We have everything from clothes to shoes to food to books, and it's completely free for our community, and it happens every last weekend of the month. So we've had some great guests already, and we have someone who else is a very amazing. And I like that dress. You're gonna have to tell me where you got that from when we're done. We have Dr. Yolanda Whitlow. How are you this morning?
I'm wonderful this morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. Can I have you a little closer to the mic?
Absolutely.
Awesome, awesome. So, Dr. Whitlow, tell us about your background and what inspired you to go into business and ministry.
Well, my background, I am a PK. My father, the late Dr. C.O. Whitlow, was the founding pastor of New Mount Pisgah Church right on Plymouth in Detroit. So I grew up in the faith. I grew up just being an only child, only girl, daddy's girl. And my mom and dad, they raised a very strong young woman. And so with that being said, I have always been in the forefront, always been that one that was radical. My father used to call me radical. And so with that, being an entrepreneur, received my first degree at Wayne State University.
Yes.
And so with that, I was a school teacher for about 1 year, but I had the opportunity to be able to start my first business at age 23. Within our church, we had saw that there was a need for childcare services. So I started my first childcare facility, First Yogi's Kitty Care, right in the midst of Detroit on Plymouth in our church. And that's what I've been, an entrepreneur ever since I was 23. I know I don't look a day over 25, but
I know that's right.
I celebrated my 56th birthday this year. And so that's the start of who I am today.
David.
Yes.
Again, Dr. Whitlow, thanks for coming in. So tell us about your serial entrepreneurial experience and what's been the core of your business philosophy.
Wow. So thank you so much for being here again. Thank you. First of all, being who I am, first of all, you have to be a servant. I'm a servant leader. You have to find yourself serving before someone can be able to serve you. You have to be able to serve. So I'm a servant leader. I'm a builder, and I'm a visionary. So one of those three things, I think, is the concept of how I have been able to be a serial entrepreneur. I'm the founder of multiple businesses. Like I stated, we have childcare centers. When my father passed away, and I just want to digress for a moment, in 2017, my father passed away suddenly, and my mom and dad, they were married for 53 years. First Lady Nettie Whitlow. Behind every good man is a great woman, okay?
Amen.
And so, amen, church, okay? So with that, when my father passed away, my mother, she was, before his death, my mother was vibrant. She could outrun me. She looked younger than me. But when her husband, the only man she ever known, passed away, my mother slipped into what you call Lewy body dementia. And from there, within 3 months after my father's death, we noticed something was different with my mom. And so from that, that made me, just think about what I can do, because I did not want my mom to be in any facility. So I started my business, the Whitlow Premier Estates, as an AFC home. I'm working on my third home right now. Wow. And so I thank God for that. But she was the reason why, and she was the influence of why I started that business. We also have a credit and business credit business, because I feel in order for our people, for the word of God says we perish for the lack of knowledge, right? Mm-hmm. And so with that being said, sometimes some people can give us a piece of fish and we can eat. But it's better to be able to show you where you can fish for yourself and be able to become established and know what you can do and know what is out here for us to be able to flourish and be serial entrepreneurs. Yeah, so
amazing. Ed?
Yes, and you brought up credit, and I got a real problem with credit, and the reason I'm saying that is you're penalized for being late and overuse.
Yes.
But you're also penalized if you pay on time everything.
That's right.
So, why it's almost like you between a rock and a hard place. We want you to pay on your bills, but not pay all your bills.
Right, absolutely. There is a system with that. People don't understand. First of all, there is rules and regulations. These creditors and vendors that are reporting things on your personal credit, it's not lawful. And these are things and rules in place where that's why people like myself is able to get these things removed off your credit, because it's not legally. These vendors and different creditors, even though you may be late, it's not lawful for them to report that on your credit report. So that's why we're able to get those things removed off your credit.
Yeah, I'm sorry that I'm just getting here. I have to say good morning.
Good morning, Pastor. How are
Did
you?
you tell folk you were a pastor?
That kind of little
Mount
bit.
Pisgah Baptist Church.
Yes.
On the third Sunday of May, you'll be preaching my anniversary.
Yes, I'm
in the
honored
Bridge
too.
Center at 3 p.m. And it's not common for a woman to be a pastor of a Baptist church.
Yes.
We know what the restrictions are in Church of God in Christ and some of the Pentecostal churches where they call them evangelism, but you're a full-fledged pastor.
Yes.
Your father was. Just spend a moment on that.
Yes, sir. So, yes, I am a full-fledged pastor. Not only a pastor, in August of last year, I walk in the apostolic anointing as being an apostle as well. But I thank God for that. Being, like I said, an only child, a daddy's girl, my father, late Dr. C.O. Whitlow, he was the founding pastor of his ministry, New Mount Pisgah Missionary Baptist Church. So I grew up with my dad. I grew up where I was the minister of music. I played the organ, the piano. I traveled with my dad. I would sing with my dad. Yes, I did that. And so being an only girl,
He got one good amen.
yes.
Right?
So with that, I just want to digress with that. Being an only child and in the Baptist arena, there was so many times, like my father, his lens is definitely changed, because when I was about 9 years old, in that moment, I used to always tell my dad, if I was a boy, I would preach his word, because in the Baptist church at that time, they did not affirm women. Women could not stand on a piece of wood, and I used to be the radical one. Remember, I told y'all I was radical. I used to question my dad. Well, like, what up with that? Like, you have me teaching a Sunday school, but I can't come up on this platform to preach. Like, what is that? So I would always say, but I respect my dad, right? And so I would be like, well, if I was a boy, I would preach. And he'd be like, yeah, baby, if you was a boy. But God, somebody say, but God. There was a moment where my dad's lenses were changed. And like I said, prior to his death in 2015, he had called me together, and he told me that God said that I was going to be the pastor. And I was like, what? Maybe the executive pastor, because I'm a business girl. And he was like, God said that you was going to be the pastor. So we started moving, and at that time I was married to a pastor, and I was like, well, I don't know how that's going to work out, but God worked everything out for our good.
He gave you good credit.
Yes.
Quick story. We want to talk about what you're doing, because you're here to help people not have predatory loans and be able to raise their credit. But my mentor, Dr. William Myers, did the African Heritage Bible.
Yes.
Married his pastor's daughter, and he tells the story of how he was changed about women. When he was 14 years old, the pastor called him up in front of the church, says, church, one day this young man is going to be pastor of the church.
Yes.
And they all celebrate. Then he brought his own daughter up and said, one day you might be an usher. And Dr. Myers said at 14, something clicked in his head. There's something wrong that he could be the pastor, but she got to stand at the back door. And this was from his own father, her own father.
Wow. Yes.
So who's up next? I mean, credit is important.
Yes.
I know my son has gone on a deliberate path in this regard, and his credit is over 700 now. Was it 400?
Yes.
And now I'm getting him to take out loans. But
not from you.
Yeah, I know. But I'm gonna have him borrow the money. No more. He gonna co-sign for me.
Right.
Yeah. Did you already ask the question?
Well, I'm willing to ask another question.
No, well, hold on. If you've asked one, let's get one. Have you asked one yet?
Yeah, we all have.
Okay, well, go ahead and ask another.
Is there a distinction between individual credit and business credit?
Yes, it is.
So you could have two different kind of credit reports.
Yes.
Well, how does that work? So
Because an entity is different. You go to Dun and Bradstreet.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, you get rated, you know, like Dabo has its own credit. Now, sometimes in those businesses, if you're new and your business is not established, it will ask the owner to co-sign.
Yes, to be a
But
guarantor.
yeah,
Well,
as a
well,
guarantor.
I'm confused about that because the Supreme Court said that businesses are people.
I don't know about all that.
Well,
I
I'm just
mean,
saying.
Yeah.
When it
And
comes
the
to
devil
notion-
said, and the devil said that you were the most handsome man in the world.
No, but I'm just saying. No, but all kidding aside,
Businesses are separate entities with their own tax ID numbers. Now
Yeah.
you do need to know though that people have made themselves businesses.
Yes.
Angela Yee, for example, who's here this week, her business is named Angela Yee Meat. Okay, so you can incorporate yourself, but it's separate from your own Social Security number. Is that right?
That's right.
You're the expert. Elaborate.
Yes. So with that, it's beneficial, especially if you're an entrepreneur, if you have an LLC or C Corp, those different things, you have to be able to be the guarantor of your business unless you are dealing with a nonprofit or a 501, 508. However, you have your different corporations and your different directors that's involved. However, when you're establishing a business, the core thing in regards to business credit, you make sure that your business credit is intact because you're not going to use your money. You're going to use other people's money to be able to get what you need and to get funded. And so with that, the attachment of your personal credit and your business credit on your personal side, if you are over 700, you're able to move forward with your business credit being established because you become an guarantor with that. And with that being said, it's not where you're just a guarantor, but everything falls on your business, right? Yeah. And so with that, you build and you establish and you leverage your credit, but you're not using nothing that's coming onto your personal credit, but you're building and you're establishing.
And at some
your
point,
business
once
credit.
you create a history,
Yes.
you don't have to co-sign anymore.
Absolutely.
The business is able to get its own credit like they borrowed. You know, we borrowed significant money. But, you know, I want to make a joke. You know, when you're talking about, your wife should be an LLC, right? Because she gets to use your stuff, you know. So you help her build her credit. But anyway, credit, by the way, is predatory.
Yes.
There are a lot of folks out here, these payday loans and things of those nature. Can you speak to those real quickly?
Absolutely. So I call them sharks. You know how we're the average person, and I just despise when I see these things and when I talk to people to help them get themselves. For example, how many of us have had auto loans before? We have what we call these B lots or what have you. You're rolling up on the lot to prepare to purchase a vehicle. I just want to remove the myth. Most people think when they're rolling out on getting, for example, if you're getting a Camry car, for example, and not a Mercedes Benz, but you're paying the note that you're on that Camry that you would have paid for that Benz because you are getting what your APR is 27%. On an average car, you shouldn't pay no more than 1%.
What's APR?
Annual percentage, right?
Yes.
But let's talk about that real quick. People do not know that in the state of Michigan, interest rates are almost unregulated. They allow for almost the highest rates imaginable.
Absolutely.
They can charge you up to like 40% in the state of Michigan for interest rate legally. There are states you can't do that. You can't do that in Florida.
No, you can't.
Right?
That's
I mean,
right.
Florida, I think, has a cap at like maybe 20%. But in Michigan, the Republicans, and that's why people, it don't make no difference who's in office.
Yes,
the
it
Republicans
does.
are always trying to put some money in their friends' pockets. So I think it goes up to almost 40% that they can charge you on an interest on a loan in the state of Michigan.
That's crazy.
And they do all this. By the way, Michigan also has the least limit on THC content in marijuana. Some of this marijuana selling these commercial enterprises have 90% THC. That's why people losing their mind. So you lose your mind, and you lose your money.
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna ask the question for a friend of mine. All right.
No, it's for you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
But in the loaning business, it's against the law for you to charge an individual 25% on the dollar.
No,
I'm talking about hold it. I said on an individual basis. I'm talking about Shy Larkin or being what you call a
No,
loan
what I
shark.
just said to you is in the state of Michigan, that's all regulated by commercial code. In the state of Michigan, that's not true. The interest rate that they allow on any kind of commercial or personal loan in the state of Michigan is higher than it is in most states in the country.
But I'm saying you're talking about a business. I'm talking about a
I'm talking about
person in the
individual. I'm
neighborhood.
talking about individuals.
Yes,
That's what I'm
that's
talking
across
about.
the board.
Oh,
Yes.
well,
They even do that with our
listen.
insurance. Like if it was called black redlining, you know, if you live in a state, especially in Detroit area, you're paying probably 3 or 4 times more for just auto insurance versus if you were in the suburban areas within our city.
Yeah, and we also have credit ratings still
Yes.
existing for auto insurance. So if your credit's bad, you pay
they're
a higher
pulling
rate
our
of that.
credit.
So you're saying that loan sharking is not a felony?
No.
I don't know what you mean by loan shark. I'm saying you don't have to
That's-
be, you don't
well,
have,
that's
you
what
don't
I'm
have to be a loan shark.
No.
If I can charge you 49% interest.
And this is what I'm saying.
Why you got to be a loan shark?
No, listen to me. A person that does that or has done that will go to jail.
No, they will not. Ed, you don't know
Okay.
what you're talking about. They've made legal
He's
charging
talking
people
about,
almost
I think
50%.
I think he's talking about in the street, man.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about, we ain't talking about
Yeah.
no street.
I think he's
This
talking
is
about
Detroit.
quarter on the dollar. That's what
Right.
he's talking
Yeah,
about.
we ain't talking about in the street. If you borrow money from a person, whatever you agree to is what you agree to. I'm talking about when you go and execute a loan that is filed, right? That loan in the state of Michigan, the interest rate, and by the way, if you don't believe me, go check it out, because when the state raised the level of what could be charged, many of these credit card companies sent you notices that they were raising your rate. The average rate in Michigan for credit card interest is 29%.
That's crazy.
29.9.
Well, Dr. Whitlow, we know that you help people with their credit and everything. So if someone wanted to retain your services, how could they contact you?
Yes.
Don't take out a loan to do it, but go ahead.
Right. Yeah. So to reach out to me, our business is called the Whitlow Financial Group, and we are on all social media platforms. And we are you can follow us, and we're able to help you. We actually have a hub that's within my ministry where I'm able to help you. We have seminars where people can come together. Our team, we look at your credit, let you know exactly what needs to be done to put you on the right road. Because most times we talk about, yes, I need to get my credit together, but we never move on it. It's time to move so that you don't have to deal with these loan sharks.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't have to be in the street because your credit is going to speak for you.
And can you
right?
let people know that this process is not 3-4 years?
Oh no.
For example, you can have stuff taken off your credit report.
Yes.
All these kind of things can lead to you building a higher credit score.
Right. Yes.
And I think last point, and I think people need to understand there's a direct correlation between your credit score and what you pay for credit.
Right. Absolutely. So with that, if anyone tell you that, they can get your stuff cleared out within 30 days, that's a myth. It takes
That's a lie.
time,
Say it's a
strategy. Come on, it takes time. But within 6 months, I guarantee you it can be done within that length of time. But don't let no one charge you $3,500 or whatever and say they can do it in 30 days. That's a myth. But if you diligently work on it along with someone like myself, who's an expert in that, within 6 months, you will see things will come off your credit. You will go from a 400, you can hit 700 within that time frame.
And we're not going to ask you what your fees are, but you're absolutely right. There are people charging exorbitant fees for this to be done. Let's talk for a moment. What rights do people have just in general? They don't know to challenge things that are on the credit report.
Right. So just as a consumer, like I stated before, legally, creditors are not supposed to be, there's a legal code where they're not supposed to report certain things like derogatory information on your credit. Legally, that's not supposed to happen. So that's why we have the leverage to be able to fight those things. We have where you have those dispute letters, and we have things like right now on a platform where AI is doing most of the work. AI is coming right in and is dealing with the things right on head where it's going to be removed. Also, medically wise, a lot of people with the medical insurance, say for instance, we have a lot of medical things right now. There's a law within the government.
Like medical bills.
Bills.
That's
those are
big
not.
issue.
That's over. If any medical bill is on your credit, that's being removed. immediately.
Well, why if somebody does an inquiry on your credit history, does your credit take a hit?
Yes, inquiries, you take a hit with
Well,
that.
let's clarify that. It's not an inquiry.
Right.
It's inquiries.
Yes.
If you're making multiple inquiries, then that can affect you. Okay. So I think, I think the point
That is
here
so
is
true.
like with me, I've had people who do credit, who I get advice from, and here's the other thing that people need to know, that they charge this stuff off. And it's not on your credit report, but then they sell that debt to other folks.
Yes.
And people say, we're going to put this on your credit. They can't do that.
They can't do that.
Yeah. I mean, I think people just need to know how this works. They work it. We ought to work it. David, you got the last question.
Yeah, I just, again, thank you for being on the show. And I think it's unique to have a pastor giving financial advice. I think that's great. So let's give her a hand for that.
And something beside bringing all the ties. Huh?
And like my homeboy said, close the doors. But anyway, so what do lenders look for in a potential business portfolio, and do you need perfect credit?
For business opportunity.
Yes.
So with business opportunity, your credit has to be at least a 680. I experienced that myself probably about 6 years ago. I had purchased a property on Northwestern, and I had a business plan. But I had good credit. And Huntington Bank funded me through an SBA. You just need a 680. You have to have no more than 3 inquiries. And there's companies out here. Huntington Bank funded me over $1 million.
Yeah, Huntington has been really amazing with respect to that.
Yes.
And they have a whole department that works with you. Let me just take a quick moment, give out your phone number and how people reach you again. If you want to get your credit, if you want your credit to be creditable.
Yes, I love that, Pastor. Yeah, if you want your credit to be credible, our number to contact us is 313-779-9066. Again, it's 313-779-9066.
And don't call her because you want to give her credit because she looks nice and all of that kind of stuff. We went through this laborious process because we've been trying to do housing in the neighborhood. And I mentioned that, we finally secured some finance. And I want people to know, according to our developer this week, that we'll be breaking ground on 3 homes right here on Kentucky within 30 to 60 days.
Yes.
And it will be affordable housing. We got to deal with the land bank. Once we put those up, we got about 21 more lots we'll be able to develop. And so I'm really excited about that. And, we're buying another house over here on Indiana, by the way. And so, and by the way, some of that has to do with our corporate credit as well.
That's right. Absolutely.
Because we've not defaulted on anything. We have a small SBA loan that we got during COVID. But, here's the thing. All of these things require something other than your own sense of what is required or what you ought to do. In every instance, you ought to have somebody who's an expert give you some advice on how to do that. You want to protect your money, not waste your money.
That's right.
And that's why we got Reverend Dr. Whitlow here. All right, God bless you. When we come back, man, oh man.
You've been listening to
Here's the wake-up call with Reverend Horace Sheffield. Rise up, wake up, let the truth be told. The wake-up call. It's the wake-up call with Reverend Horace Sheffield. Rise up, wake up.
This is Super Bowl champion Lomas Brown, and I get my Saturday morning wake-up call from Reverend Horace Sheffield, my man.
This is Grover in Kansas, and I get my wake-up call from Reverend Horace Sheffield every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 101.5 FM or 1500 a.m. The wake-up call with the Reverend Horace Sheffield.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's your girl, Randy Rosario, comedian and TV host. I get my Saturday wake-up call with my guy, Reverend Horace Sheffield. Think about it. Good day.
I'm Sheriff Raphael Washington, Wayne County, and I get my Saturday morning wake up every Saturday morning from Reverend Horace Sheffield, and you should too.
Every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 101.5 FM or 1500 AM, The Wake Up Call with the Reverend Horace Sheffield.
Hello, everybody. This is your girl, Erica Alexander, and every Saturday morning, I get my wake-up call with Reverend Sheffield. Make sure you go on and get some of that. All right? What is that? Is that something called? Is it Saturday?
Every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 101.5 FM or 1500 AM, The Wake Up Call with the Reverend Horace Sheffield.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your man Mike Epps, and I get my Saturday morning wake-up call from Reverend Sheffield. Make sure you get yours.
I'm Hester Wheeler, and I get my Saturday morning wake-up call from Reverend Horace Sheffield.
Every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 101.5 FM or 1500 AM, The Wake Up Call with the Reverend Horace Sheffield.
You've been listening to
Here's the wake up call with Reverend Horace Sheffield. Rise up, wake up, let the truth be told. The wake up call. It's the wake up call with Reverend Horace Sheffield. Rise up, wake up, let the truth be told. The wake up call. Reverend Horace Sheffield. Rise up, wake up.
Morning, 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 Detroit. Morning, Detroit listeners. Morning, Detroit listeners. We love that sound. That music sounds good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, got my brother Davey here with us for a couple of minutes until my co-host is my brother
Reverend
Brian
D.
Berry. What's up, Dave?
The good Reverend D. This is one of the coolest pastors y'all will ever meet, right here. It's been like this.
Been like this, right?
Yes, sir.
Man, on today, man, we're gonna get into a sizzling topic, talking about some of this violence that's occurring.
Yes, sir.
Now, David, I know you work for Wayne County Sheriff, and I know you see a lot.
Yes, sir.
I've been saying this for a long time, maybe for the last 17 years, specifically in the city of Detroit, and I know it occurs all over,
Yes,
just
sir.
in general. I've been saying this, that warm weather breeds bad behavior.
Yes, sir.
Let me repeat that again. Warm weather breeds bad behavior. It's interesting, and Dave, and I want you to comment on that, whether you agree or disagree. But let me talk about. Let me bring it into context. As we know, here in Michigan, we coming out of winter, and we just entered into what is defined as spring. And from my observation, based on data, there's always a spike in crime when warm weather occurs, specifically in the city of Detroit. My question is, Dave, I want to ask, why is that? And before you answer that question, because I love the warm weather. I love the outside activities. My brother Brian Berry just walked in. I love the outside activities that I can participate in. I love barbecuing, trying my best to barbecue.
Yes, sir.
I love sitting outside. I love riding through Belle Isle, rolling down the windows. I love different activities that you can engage in outside. But unfortunately, warm weather breeds bad behavior. Do you think is some truth in that, Dave, or what? What's your thoughts?
And unfortunately, there is. I don't have any scientific data to give you to support it. All I can do is just think about growing up, and let's just take high school for example. As soon as spring hits, as soon as we get a good 68, 70 degrees,
You know what's happening.
Yeah.
You already know.
we change the way we dress.
Yeah.
We want to put some shorts on, and I just don't want to say warm weather because they got warm weather year round in some parts of the
That's
country.
what. Yeah.
But here,
That's why I say specifically here.
yeah, here in the northern states, I think we've been cooped up for a while. We want to get outside, and I think a lot of that plays a part in it, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Rev, it's unfortunate that happens, and I can't put my finger on it. I'm just saying. I mean, you go to Rouge,
Yeah.
you go to Chandler Park,
Yeah.
you go to Belle Isle.
Yeah.
I mean, when we were younger, we used to roll down 7 Mile.
7 Mile, absolutely.
And then or we would go to downtown. And so the violence and the things happen because people come outside. Unfortunately, you have a large group of people together. Unfortunately, things may happen. And I remember I was downtown. I was walking with this girl, man, and I don't know if y'all remember Ford Auditorium.
Yep.
And there used to be that big wall right there.
Yep.
Dudes used to be sitting on the wall.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
So I'm walking, and the girl talking about, the guy was like, "You need to drop that zero and get with this hero." and so
I remember them statements.
And so I was offended, but I'm with her. He with like 6 dudes. Now what I'm gonna do?
Yeah, absolutely.
And she looking at me. I'm like, let's just keep walking. But that's just me making the decision in terms
Absolutely.
of. But then you have other folks now. Instead of walking away, they want to shoot.
They want to engage in it.
They want to, and it's just it's just really crazy, D. So I guess that's the long answer to your question is yes, it happens, and we got Ives Ever who worked for DPD for 100 years.
Yeah, sorry, absolutely.
And I'm saying, I guess every summer it's just something that happens. So it's been happening over time. So I can't put my finger on it.
So Brian, we're talking about this. I always say this, and I say this every year. Once we enter into spring, warm weather breeds bad behavior. And unfortunately,
Thanks, bro. Thanks, Dave.
specifically, thank you, Dave. My brother, my co-host here, my brother is here, Brian Berry. Let's welcome Brian Berry. He's back. We also got my brother Kevin, our co-host, who's going to be calling in. He's doing the work of the Lord on the other side of the state somewhere. Amen. But
No, he's not. He's probably doing some Q stuff, catching dog fleas. I hope he hears that. I hope he hears it. Straight shot. No, but you're right though about this weather. It happens every spring, every summer. It's going to be some type of even the winter time when we have those subsequent warm days. You see a rise in, just like you said, bad driving, folks driving real on edge.
It just breeds bad behavior for some strange reason. It's a spike in crime. Kudos to the chief of police, Detroit Police, Chief Batterson, good friend of mine. But you starting to see him more on
poor emotion regulation. It's poor emotion regulation because I would try to just bring it down to a certain demo, but that ain't right because it's not a certain demo.
It's not.
Yeah, it's folks as seasoned as we are. We don't see it in our seniors. They got together. They probably looking at us like we got something wrong with us, but it's usually like you see them in your 40s. You see folks younger. And whatnot. And I think it's just the culture that we kind of just gravitate to. Because a lot of times, you'll see the things of the road race stuff. That's a whole nother phenomenon, and that doesn't really.
Because Brian, me and you around the same age, and we used to do some of these same.
No, I'm younger.
Well, we're around the same age.
I was just joking, man. We actually about a year apart.
Right, absolutely. But we used to do the same thing. When I talk about warm weather breeds bad behavior, warm weather, we was prompted to hurry up and go out, change our attire and everything. Make sure that we get out. We would ride through 7 Mile, as Dave mentioned earlier, riding on 7 Mile. And we just riding. That's all we doing. We just cruising on 7 Mile or going down to Belle Isle. I'm a West Sider, so I was always on 7 Mile, Evergreen, ride that whole strip from 7 Mile, Illinois, going all the way down to West.
My grandmother still stays on 7 Mile.
So it was
Strawberry Fields used to be. Yeah, so
absolutely.
I know exactly what you're talking about. But you think about it back then, those who had access, to like guns and stuff were usually in a drug gang. And it was usually not justifying that because that has its, its ill too. But that was like an isolated thing. But what those drugs allow for to happen is, just your regular everyday lay person to have access to weaponry. And I think that's part of the problem. Like, folks are already sometimes going to be on the edge. Road rage is a newer phenomenon.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's a newer phenomenon, right. But folks still going to have that. But I think it's like, we have too many people have access to high power weapons.
Absolutely, totally agree with you.
You know what I'm saying? And then I am a licensed CPL holder, but I don't think everybody gets their CPL to protect themselves. Some probably get their CPL as it seems like as a badge of I'm bad now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is all.
I remember, not to cut you off, but I remember since you just brought that up, I'm a CPL holder as well, and we're responsible CPL holders. I remember a statement when I was in undergrad at Wayne State studying criminal justice. It was a documentary that I saw. I can't recall who said it, but he said, guns don't kill people. People do.
Yeah, exactly.
Powerful statement.
Yeah.
And all he was just saying is that we have to be responsible. Yeah. This was over 20 years plus years ago. Because we have people who have been CPL holders, and we just have people who just have had weapons on them, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But been responsible.
But I think also, like with a lot of folks now, and like I said, I'm not relegating this to a certain demographic, but a lot of us have poor emotion regulation.
Absolutely.
We can't handle, conflict the right way. We blow up and go to the most extremes. Now, that is something that I don't feel like I'm not qualified to delve deeper into to find like the root cause of that. But it seems like the more time passes, the more folks are on edge and just just snapping. Or like we were talking about, like, this is something you was near and dear to you, talking about the situation in Shreveport.
That's and that's what we're leaning on too, because and I brought my daughter here.
But it ain't just that one. Then you got the lieutenant governor.
That's what we want to talk about too. Yeah.
And then you have the
list goes on. Unfortunately,
the situation that happened around the same. These all happened within the same week, and the Shreveport incident and the situation that happened here last weekend happened within 24 hours. So
absolutely.
About the three people getting, you know what I'm saying, and it's like those three people.
And you know what, Brian? I guess that's the sub where we going in.
Yeah, let's go.
Because we really want to talk about this, and I just open it up just to say. Warm weather breeds bad behavior, specifically in the city of Detroit. But this violence that's occurring, that we're getting ready to talk about, it's not a seasonal type of situation in terms of the weather.
Not at all.
When you talk about specifically what took place in Shreveport, Louisiana. Now, I will be the first to say this. I'm a believer. I'm a pastor, ordained minister. I would have to say this, and I don't want to turn this into a biblical, spiritual type of situation, but realistically, it's just realistic. My grandma used to say a spade is a spade.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible says that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but spiritual wickedness in high places.
I think. So you're speaking on spiritual warfare.
Yeah,
I think it's more prevalent now.
Oh man, when you talk about,
I think you can see it now.
Oh,
Before it was like a concept.
Yes,
and so you understand, and it may be more individualized. I'm going through something spiritual.
When you say
can see it in the greater world now.
You even an unbeliever should see
yes,
this.
Sir.
When you talking about the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the pulling down the strongholds. Ephesians say, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but principalities and spiritual wickedness in high places. When you talk about the incident that just took place in Louisiana, when you just talk about I was just thinking about it because it just touched my heart. One of the challenging moments that I have in ministry, unfortunately, is when I had to officiate a funeral when there's babies.
That young person, yep.
That really messes me up mentally.
Yep.
The transition of life messes me up automatically. But when I have to go and officiate a funeral, when the casket is about this size, it does something to you mentally. It does something to me. It affects
just
me
in general when it's not natural causes.
Absolutely, and it's
In general?
absolutely.
Okay.
Well, regardless if it's general or not, regardless if it's natural cause or regardless of it's violence or not, but just walking down and just officiating and walking to that casting, and the cast is about this size. It affects me, but God always brings me through it. But when I say that this is demonic, when you take an individual who finds himself, I think the youngest child was 3 years of age. No,
okay. I thought it was 1 and
2 or
14.
3 years of age or something like that.
Mhm.
When you take a child that's 2, 3 years of age, and from my understanding, just reviewing various things, is that he was intentionally shooting these babies. Headshot. You talking about from a 2-year-old to a 5 to a 7. That's demonic.
So I was just about to say, you think he was demonically possessed?
I know from a psychological standpoint, psychologists define it as mental health, and mental health is real.
100% real.
But if in this context that I'm speaking on it from a spiritual perspective.
Yeah, because
it is mental health. But how can you
how can you take away that which you made?
Absolutely.
Because I know I have one child, and I know some here have multiple children, and I know that I'm sure that a parent can see themselves in each
Absolutely.
child, a version of themselves in each child.
Right.
You know, like I'll see there are things that, from God rest my father's soul, I was away from my father for years, like some years. Came back from Africa, hung out with him, and he was doing things. I had been around this man in like 5 years at all. And he was doing things, and I was doing the same hand gestures or words or phrases. And I'm like, what in the world? Like, you know, so I noticed then, the son looking up at the father, that I am a copy of him, whether I'm around him or not. So, and I see my daughter now, and I'm looking at her like, wow, like she's doing something. Like she's totally not in the things I'm into, but she'll do certain things in the things that she into that reminds me.
Replica of who?
Yes, sir.
That's your DNA.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so you feel that universal, that cosmic, that celestial connection to your child. At least I do. So I understand what you're saying. Like if you're, you know, that is a very heinous way to end the life of anyone, including yourself. You know what I'm saying? And then to do it from the smallest to the oldest over and 8 times.
Yes.
Yeah. Something.
I mean, intentionally,
something
you
was
going
there.
Absolutely. You intentionally, you looking at your baby, whether they were asleep or awake. You looking at your baby, and you just, it's touching my heart to even speak on it. But
it's heartbreaking.
That is demonic.
Yeah, and then to go beyond, and then for the adults,
and then take the adults, and then I know it's demonic because the devil task is to kill, steal, and destroy. So what you do is you take out all of the babies and then the children's mother, and you give her a flesh wound to her leg so she could suffer through having to witness the death of her children
and then live with it.
And live with it.
Yeah, that's the demonic part. So here's how it stretches even further than that, because now you don't know them people, you couldn't call out all their names, but you're forever affected.
Absolutely.
By that. So you see what I'm saying? When you know that with environmental trauma, and so that in itself has. No, that's a little. You know, you're not supposed to be able to. You shouldn't have to carry that with you. That's a little demonic too. So yeah, man, you're right. Like we are in a time of spiritual warfare. You know,
absolutely. And I even say this. I had to say this. I mean, when I look at these images, what was just depicted with the man that's operating on Pennsylvania Avenue, and it's some images.
Let's go straight to it. Go straight to it.
President Trump.
He's a megalomaniac. That you know.
President Trump. God says, "Do not mock. I shall not be mocked." Graven images.
But see, here's the thing, though. Why are we surprised? This man, this man, before we got to this, came out with his own version of the Bible.
Absolutely.
That should have been
that was a warning.
That was more than a warning. That was, you know what I'm saying? what possesses you? What makes you think that you are qualified in any way to make spiritual? You know what I'm saying? Like content. You can't. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so that for me, I wasn't surprised when he tried to do some AI image and then lied and said it was a doctor.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But the crazy thing is about, I want to say that the alarming thing is that more folks haven't stood up and within his own campus say, hey, we have gone beyond the point of reason. Have you ever heard you don't have to be Catholic, you can be whatever. Have you ever heard a religious leader or political leader arguing with the Pope?
That was my next one. I've been
like,
a registered voter since I was 18. So you talking about 30 years ago. I have never seen any political candidate, any presidential candidate bicker and had issues with the Pope.
Have you?
Yeah. Never.
Yeah.
In my years, and in my years as a registered voter.
Yeah.
I asked my dad the same thing. I asked him the other day. My dad is 78 years of age. He said he never seen it in his lifetime.
Have you ever heard this man? They talk about this whole, and we don't want to go all the way down there, but Christian nationalism. Have you ever heard them in their speech and their rhetoric mention the word Jesus, mention the name Jesus?
Oh, no.
Not once. No. Not once. So this is going a little off, but he's more aligned with the anti than anything. You know what I'm saying? And it's and the way it's kind of unfolding, it's like, are folks really seeing this? Are folks really seeing it? I'm gonna put this out here and see if you're okay with it. I'm gonna say I have my own Bible. I think he got sworn in on that Bible.
He did, I believe so.
So we don't know what's in that Bible.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know what's in there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And no one has ever said, okay, hey, let's pop the top and see, what did you swear on?
Right.
What did you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And they just pushed that up on the rug, under the rug. Oh, he is gonna do this. And then you have this image that did you look at the image all the way?
I saw it's several of them, but I saw one of them and I just like,
did you see
it just disturbed my spirit.
Besides him trying to have this benevolent presence, the imagery around, because I looked at, and I guess it's my Masonic background. I'm really into signs and symbols.
Gotcha.
So I'll pay attention to the exterior.
Okay.
Above that original image, there were like 3 images above them. And the middle one looks just like a 3-horned demon.
I didn't see that in a while. But it don't surprise me.
Go back to the original picture. Go back to the original picture if you can find it.
Okay.
And you'll see there's like,
because I know now they didn't say he didn't remove everything, so it's probably not. But it don't surprise
it's still
me.
there. It's still there. Someone copied, screen, and so they can report on it. So it's still out there. But you got the Statue of Liberty, you got these officers and soldiers or whatever. But above him are 3, kind of faded images. But the one in the middle, directly in line with him, looks like a demon. Hand of God.
Don't surprise me. It don't surprise me.
But what I'm saying is, these are the things that as we kind of need to get back on track. But these are the things that folks are kind of glossing over when we're talking about this man. You know what I'm saying? And in the environment that he helps fan. I ain't gonna say this. A lot of stuff was going on before he was in office, but he definitely fans the flames, and in the way he moves, in the way he says things. But I can't put all of this on him.
Right.
What I can say is that I don't know if there's some money in not addressing like mental health crises, and type of things, and having supports in place. I don't want to, because I don't know, so I don't venture to say that, but I wonder what type, because I've heard when they say he had a mental health breakdown. Did he have episodes before?
Right.
Were there resources there to help him, or is there medication he was supposed to be on? Is he,
or not did he embrace it and everything?
Yeah. I don't think that as a society that we take it as serious as we should. I think we're equipped, if we can't handle it, to brush it off. And I think we leave a lot of people stuck trying to figure out how to comport themselves in a world that doesn't make sense to them at times. And I'm not making excuses for him, but he wasn't like that the day before we know him. He wasn't like that 7 days before. Like, he made kids over a period of 14 years, and I'm sure those kids had some loving moments with their father.
I'm quite sure.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like, we will never know on the root cause, but he's a victim too. He's the assailant,
totally agree.
but he's a victim too. And it's so sad. It's so sad. And it's, you know, even the situation with the lieutenant governor, like, you know, I know he was in the highest of places, black lieutenant governor, right?
Absolutely.
And he had a, you know,
very expiring political career in front of him.
Had a very beautiful wife, enjoying the same beautiful family, and you know, because he had a setback in his career and took him down a spiral, like, you know,
spiral.
And
I believe that was mental. I mean, because we all can go through some challenges in life.
Yeah.
I went through a moment in my life where I had I would say a mental breakdown, but I did utilize the resources that are available. There's some resources that are available that can assist you. Because some of us, we come from the taboo where we don't need a counselor.
Yeah.
We don't need to see a therapist. We don't need to see a counselor or a psychologist. You know, specifically, unfortunately, we used to have that taboo in the church. Just pray about it. Bible said faith without works is dead.
Yeah, it is.
So I've been a firm believer always, like, after we pray, let's get up and let's do something with it.
Let's do something with it. Yes, sir.
Let's do something with it.
Hey, bro, you had a comment? We want to get you a mic. You know, one second. We'll get you a mic right there. Good morning, brother. What's your name? Wyatt Bryan?
Oh, Brian.
Dwayne Bryant. Yes, sir.
These guys come on TV. I don't know their name, but they had a lot of stars on the show. And see, one was real, was being, you know, anyway, this guy I was at before I came over, it was nursing home. I said I did something, but I just put this out there. He said, you ain't did nothing. It was about 5 police cars. He put me in the car. So he took me and he was talking to me about where he was going. He said he was going somewhere to make some shoes or something like that. He was saying, man, you ain't did nothing, Mr. Bryant. So, you know, when I was watching television, and he was on there. And then it was this other lady on there. I had went way out Teddy Pendergrass. And I went out there. I was out there like, and I was stranded. And
bring the mic up. Bring the mic up to your mouth. There you go.
I was stranded, right? I walked a long way. I left the house because to nobody. First, I was up there at the asphalt place, and wouldn't nobody give me no money, nothing. So I went down there to this guy. I mean, nobody would give me no money. So I went down there to this guy named really owned cleaners. And so Desi was up there. At first I was somewhere in the house, I guess. They had a camper, right? And anyway.
Not trying to cut you off, Brian. We got to hurry up.
Okay.
So tell me that's your comment.
What's your comment? What's your point?
I was just wondering who the president was. I don't know who the president is.
The president of the United States?
Right now? Yeah.
President of the United States?
Yeah.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Okay, because they said the tall guy was the president. No. And I didn't know whether or not he was the president.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you,
Brian.
brother.
Brother, amen.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Excuse me. First of all, bless both of y'all. Thank y'all so much. You know, we have so many situations. One of them is number one, that's mental health 101. we have a wellness class that starts today at 12 o'clock from 2. All families out there that's listening, all families that's audience right now, you are
Where's it
welcome
at?
to
You
come.
got to give out the location. We got about
Location
30
right now is
seconds.
2120 Russell Street, Big Church. Come on, bring your children, bring
Russell
your
Street Baptist Church?
Yeah. 12 o'clock, bring your children, bring your friends, bring your uncle, bring your auntie, bring your grandmama, bring everybody. It's
All
a
right.
wellness,
I'm sorry. I got to
mental
cut you off. Please dial in 313-340-9507, 313-340-9507. We will see you on the other side of the break.
Amen.
You've been
Amen.
listening to-
Amen.
Hey, 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 here's the wake up call. With Reverend Horace Sheffield. Rise up, wake up, let the truth be told. The wake up call. Hey, 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 it's the wake up call. With Reverend Horace Sheffield. Rise up, wake up, let the truth be told. The wake up call. Reverend Horace Sheffield. Rise up, wake up.
This is Super Bowl champion Lomas Brown, and I get my Saturday morning wake-up call from Reverend Horace Sheffield, my man.
This is Grover in Kansas, and I get my wake-up call from Reverend Horace Sheffield every Saturday morning from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 101.5 FM or 1500 a.m. The wake-up call with the Reverend Horace Sheffield.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's your girl, Randy Rosario, comedian and TV host. I get my Saturday wake-up call with my guy, Reverend Horace Sheffield. Think about it. Good day.
I'm Sheriff Raphael Washington, Wayne County, and I get my Saturday morning wake up every Saturday morning from Reverend Horace Sheffield, and you should too.
Every Saturday morning from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 101.5 FM or 1500 a.m. The wake-up call with the Reverend Horace Sheffield.
Hello, everybody. This is your girl, Erica Alexander, and every Saturday morning, I get my wake-up call with Reverend Sheffield. Make sure you go on and get some of that. All right? What is that? Is that someone called? Is it Saturday?
Every Saturday morning from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 101.5 FM or 1500 a.m. The wake-up call with the Reverend Horace Sheffield.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your man Mike Epps, and I get my Saturday morning wake-up call from Reverend Sheffield. Make sure you get yours.
I'm Hester Wheeler, and I get my Saturday morning wake-up call from Reverend Horace Sheffield.
Every Saturday morning from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 101.5 FM or 1500 a.m. The wake-up call with the Reverend Horace Sheffield.
This is Super Bowl champion Lomas Brown, and I get my Saturday morning wake-up call from Reverend Horace Sheffield, my man.
This is Grover in Kansas, and I get my wake-up call from Reverend Horace Sheffield every Saturday morning from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 101.5 FM or 1500 a.m. The wake-up call with the Reverend Horace Sheffield.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's your girl, Randy Rosario, comedian and TV host. I get my Saturday wake-up call with my guy, Reverend Horace Sheffield. Think about it. Good day.
I'm Sheriff Raphael Washington, Wayne County, and I get my Saturday morning wake up every Saturday morning from Reverend Horace Sheffield, and you should too.
Every Saturday morning from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 101.5 FM or 1500 a.m. The wake-up call with the Reverend Horace Sheffield.
You've been listening to
Hey, 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 here's the wake up call. With Reverend Horace Sheffield. Rise up, wake up, let the truth be told.
Hey, we back. So we're in this Manifest Wellness. Thanks for tuning in to the Manifest Wellness Show.
We're back.
Yep. And we're talking about mental health awareness. We're talking about, because Mental Health Awareness Month is coming up. We're talking about some of the situations where we've seen some mental health crisis or mental health challenges or situations turn very tragic. On our last break, since our last break, we brought two guests on. We brought Brother Dwight Harris, correct? He's with Detroit Way Integrated Health Network, who basically is the organization who organized our show. And then we have Carrington. Go ahead.
We have my daughter. What's her name?
Oh my God, you gotta get up to that mic. So we want to, and we have her on there because
she's a gas technician.
We didn't need to say that. That's like worse. That's like saying she's cute. But anyway, no. But we have her on because definitely want to have a chance to talk to father, daughter, and get your perspective on these things that you see at your level. And then we have a trained professional. So, Brother Harris, before the break, we had one of our guests telling us about an event that you are the organizer on. Is that correct?
Yeah. So it's called Saturday Reset. And this is a circle around training a rap, wellness recovery action plan. So I added another P because
You said RAP, that's the acronym, and it's recovery.
Wellness recovery action plan.
Okay.
So it's a training that piss poor specialist, which I'm a piss poor specialist for DWIN and for the state. And so that class I've been doing probably like 4 months now. It was just a way to make our community aware of what mental health is and what therapy is from a circle. So we have a circle, and in that circle, we just share our experiences and we talk about trauma. We do it for an hour and a half. We've probably had, I want to say, probably almost 60 sessions so far.
Oh, good.
We have Wellness Wednesdays and we have a Saturday Reset, which is today at 12 o'clock, 2120 Russell at a church, St. James.
Is that by Eastern Market?
Yeah, right there.
St. James, yeah.
Yeah, right there. And so we do it, and it's been very impactful. And one of the things for me, I'm a mental health advocate.
Okay.
For DWIN. I work for customer service almost 2 years, and I also work crisis mobilization.
Okay.
For like 2 years now. I work from 10 to 6 now.
Okay. How long you been in the profession?
I've been in the profession about 5 years now.
Okay.
But mental health crisis mobilization has been in existence a little longer, but the way that we do it at DWIN is new.
Okay. Can you define that? You saying it's new. What do you mean by that?
So where people in the community know more about what mental health
raising awareness.
Is, raising coming out. So once you dispatch 988, or you may call 1-800-241-4949. When you call that number, you get an access center, and it asks you questions. And if you have whatever that mental health challenge is,
so anybody can dial in. Can you just walk us through somebody who may be listening and do not know about this resource? Just walk us through. Can that, because we want to share, because we always lifting up DWIN.
Okay. So example.
Okay.
I'm a crisis mobilization peer support specialist. And so when we go out on the car, I go out with a clinician.
Okay.
We have white vans. We have 12 white vans.
Okay.
The crisis center is 707
Milwaukee.
Yep.
And so we also have a crisis center at the bottom. Bottom floor. We on the 5th floor.
Okay.
And so we our children center is on the 2nd floor, and the adults is on the 1st floor.
Okay.
And so once the call comes in, eventually we end up getting a call.
Okay.
So that's me and the clinician. And so what the clinician does is an assessment, has a conversation. Once it's referred from dispatch, the person that called over to our clinician, and we ask what's going on and what can we do to help.
Okay.
Sometimes we have a conversation that doesn't lead us to go out and get in the van, and sometimes, most of the time, we end up getting in the van
and bringing them to the crisis.
So not all the time. So
can you walk? Hold on.
So I'm kind of giving you that walk, right?
So you are dispatch.
We are dispatch,
and you get an address.
We get an address.
Do y'all? Are y'all? I'm quite sure y'all partner with DPD because you just, or do you partner with DPD, or do you just pull up?
Since our CEO James White came over,
and
then Bedison.
Right.
So and all the things. What happened was 911 were getting calls that were mental health crisis calls.
Right.
And so now that bridge has allowed DWIN to be able to collaborate with 911. Now, when the call comes from 911 and they realize that this is a mental health crisis,
Okay.
it will be referred to us. However, some of those calls 911 still comes out.
Okay.
And they'll be there to assist in the crisis.
And it'll be their mental health unit. It won't be a regular squad
So
car.
sometimes it do be a regular squad car, and sometimes it do be the professional integrity unit, which is crisis intervention.
Yeah.
Okay.
CRT. Yeah. CRT.
CRT officials, and so.
And this is a 24/7 hotline, right?
24/7.
Okay.
So not all calls are DPD calls, 911 calls. However, what it has done, it has took away, decreased those calls that were mental health calls that the police could not handle.
Right.
Which allows us to be on the scene as opposed to the police. A lot of things happen.
Yeah, a lot of times they're not trained, and then people who are having crisis, they mistaken as violence, and that person doesn't go home and things. Yeah.
And so we get that call. A lot of times we don't have to take somebody anywhere. Like they're sometimes we do the work there.
Y'all can assess it right there. Okay.
As a peer support specialist, the crisis call are peer led.
Okay.
Peer means I've had the experience.
Gotcha.
I've been there some kind of way.
Gotcha.
And my profession and all my training teaches me how to encounter this person that's in a crisis and how to de-escalate this person there.
Okay.
A lot of times we can't de-escalate, and sometimes the police do have to be involved.
Okay.
We are not the people to put our hands
Absolutely.
up.
Absolutely.
And we have to explain to them that we are not here to make you do anything. Our calls, those calls are self-initiated.
Okay.
And if we have to do we'll have to refer them to the
additional services. Additional services.
Because I'm not sure.
I got you. It's all right. Yeah.
So I want to say, so we got 5 minutes. So what it did is decrease the volume of calls to the hospitals as well.
Right.
Okay.
So a lot of times, like when we
Because unfortunately, we already know what took place over 20 years ago with Governor Blanchard shut down.
No, it wasn't Blanchard.
I'm sorry. Engler.
It was Engler.
I'm sorry. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Governor Engler shut down the mental health facilities.
Yeah.
So one of the things I want to say about mental health, and I hear a lot of people talking about mental health. Mental health is not them or they, it's us.
Yeah, it is.
Mental health is a spectrum.
Say that again.
Mental health is not them or they,
It's us.
And a lot of times when I hear a lot of the shows that people talk about mental health, they'll be saying them and they, and not that this is us. Because
Right.
we're
all
on the
affected.
spectrum.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
We all on the spectrum.
Absolutely.
It may be severe on this end, right here might not be so severe.
Got you.
And so, but at the same time, we're all on the same line. The spectrum.
Absolutely.
And so
Because we are human beings.
And we're trying to stump out the stigma of mental health. And once you stump that stigma out, there's more acceptance.
And that's what I was speaking on, just alluding to earlier before we went on break. Because I know in the church, oftentimes we used to say, just pray about it. And my position was faith without works is dead.
Yeah.
And number one, you are already receiving some form of counseling anyway, because when you're talking to your best friend, that's some form of counseling.
Yeah.
It's not a licensed clinician, but you're getting it off your chest.
Yeah.
That's a form of counseling. If you're sharing it with your bestie and they rendering some form of consultation, it's not a licensed clinician, but it's a form of counseling that we define as practical counseling.
So once I always say,
so it's okay. So the point that I'm trying to make, it's okay to receive therapeutic services.
So mental health services is not somebody walking down a dark hallway with a white coat on.
Yeah.
It's us.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's us. And once you accept the acceptance of people, when we hear about all the violence, and one of the things that I've noticed is that there's a problem with us accepting people for who they are. You never know what a person is going to do. And you could have been the person to walk right past this person that had a gun that's going to go kill.
Yeah.
And so, and if you just look at this person like something is wrong with him, and then you got to issue the way he's looking. But if you could just smile and be friendly, we could stop a lot of things.
That can de-escalate, right?
I've noticed that too, because I get on the river walk, right?
Yeah.
I get on. One of my gestures that so I get on the river walk, and we are as men, and I'm a victim of it too. I don't look away when especially a man is looking away from me. Right. Some of it is just, hey, there's no threat here, but two, I ain't no punk because that's how we grew up with, right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's not real cool. That's somewhere on the spectrum. Right. But what I've done to make sure that I de-escalate that off rip, to let them know, like, no, I'm not man here. I'm standing here on my 10 toes as a man too, but I ain't got no issue with you. I'll just walk past and put my hand on my heart. Right there. Yeah. You already know right there. We already know as soon as I see you, it's what's up. It's love. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It ain't fear. It ain't I'm seeing you, black man. It's love. I know we got a minute left. I'm gonna let you comment, but when we get back, I want to ask you, Ms. Carrington, about young people and what you've seen as far as conflict resolution, how folks are dealing with the pressure, and what do you think we are missing, like providing for you all? We as the older adults that brought you into this society. What do you think that we're missing? Because I have a theory on that too. How much time we got left, bro? Okay, so we said catch you on the other side of the break.
We'll see you on the other side of the break. Dial in 313-340-9507. That's 313-340-9500. Or tune in on FM 101.5 or 1500 AM. We will see you on the other side of the break.
You've been listening to
Here's the wake up call with Reverend Horace Sheffield. Rise up, wake up, let the truth be told. The wake up call.
This is Super Bowl champion Lomas Brown, and I get my Saturday morning wake-up call from Reverend Horace Sheffield, my man.
This is Grover in Kansas, and I get my wake-up call from Reverend Horace Sheffield every Saturday morning from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 101.5 FM or 1500 AM, the wake-up call with the Reverend Horace Sheffield.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's your girl, Randy Rosario, comedian and TV host. I get my Saturday wake-up call with my guy, Reverend Horace Sheffield. Think about it. Good day.
I'm Sheriff Raphael Washington, Wayne County, and I get my Saturday morning wake up every Saturday morning from Reverend Horace Sheffield, and you should too.
Every Saturday morning from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 101.5 FM or 1500 AM, the wake-up call with the Reverend Horace Sheffield.
Hello, everybody. This is your girl, Erica Alexander, and every Saturday morning, I get my wake-up call with Reverend Sheffield. Make sure you go on and get some of that. All right? What is that? Is that someone called? Is it Saturday?
Every Saturday morning from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 101.5 FM or 1500 AM, the wake-up call with the Reverend Horace Sheffield.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your man Mike Epps, and I get my Saturday morning wake-up call from Reverend Sheffield. Make sure you get yours.
I'm Hester Wheeler, and I get my Saturday morning wake-up call from Reverend Horace Sheffield.
Every Saturday morning from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 101.5 FM or 1500 AM, the wake-up call with the Reverend Horace Sheffield.
This is Super Bowl champion Lomas Brown, and I get my Saturday morning wake-up call from Reverend Horace Sheffield, my man.
This is Grover in Kansas, and I get my wake-up call from Reverend Horace Sheffield every Saturday morning from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 101.5 FM or 1500 AM, the wake-up call with the Reverend Horace Sheffield.
You've been listening to
Here's the wake-up call.
We back on our last segment already.
That's
Brian,
pretty quick,
man. And
right.
it's been a blessing, really.
Yeah.
And how we always sharing resources. But Brian Berry, I want you to introduce how you want to.
So Sister Carrington, how you doing?
I'm good, and you?
Okay, what grade you in?
11.
What school do you unfortunately go to?
Cass Tech.
Anybody from Cass Tech got smoke? I don't care. We don't like your school. No, it's all good. It's a shining beacon in the community. But I wanted to ask you this. This is something you don't know, but this is something that you're affected by.
Okay.
So, Brother White, your pops and I were coming up. We always had a plethora of youth programs, whether it was Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Cub Scouts, Boys and Girls Club, all of the rec centers having something to do. Something that you don't know happened systematically to affect you now is when we were coming up about your age, they started to phase off all of the after-school programs, What we started seeing, and these things that we studied, was that people look just like you, black and brown, brothers and sisters, started having issues with the law between 3 p.m. when school let out and 7 p.m. by the time they should be home, right? Incarceration rates start going up. And so now you have all this trickle down. Saying all that to say this, what is it that you see as a young adult in the middle of it, in one of the largest schools in the state? What do you think that young people in the aspects of mental health, being able to have proper conflict resolution, because it seems from our end that you all have an issue and go to the extreme, whether it's girls or guys. What do you think is missing that we are not seeing that you all need?
To be honest, so I feel like the conflict comes from people getting into it with other people, and then it just keeps building on and on. But when they catch them, it turns into like a big brawl and fights, or like shootouts happen and people end up dying and people end up seriously injured. And I honestly feel like it could come from how they were raised, or if they went down the wrong path. And it just kept going on and it progressively got worse. And then it's causing tension for everybody around them, even innocent bystanders. They're getting shot at, or they could get hit or anything. So I don't know what really is the issue, but I feel like that right there, when people get into it with other people, but they just go to the extreme. And with mental health, I feel as if some people hold stuff in because they feel as if they don't have nobody to talk to. And then, like, from experience, some people, also sexuality not being accepted by their parents, it causes deep depression and it causes them to be off track. And you could see an effect in their behavior, their grades, just the way they carry themselves, and you can tell. But some people just feel like they don't have nobody to talk to or nobody to come to, even though it's resources, but they just rather like keep it in and not tell anybody and just deal with it on their own. And then that causes to deep depression, to points where they can be suicidal, and it could just lead to
Or
bad
homicidal.
Yeah.
So you said something that was, because I was going to ask a question, but you said something. There are resources in the schools now that or there aren't.
So in my school, we
And
have
can
a-
you define them resources, Karen? What are they?
Well, in my school, I know we have a social worker, and so we can like go to her or him. I don't know if it's a lady or a man, but I definitely know that we have one in the school, and she or he is willing to, talk to the kids or let the kids get whatever they want off their chest instead of holding it in, creating a safe space for the kids so they can feel like they have somebody and they have somebody to lean on for them to talk to.
So it's there. Do you think, and you can't speak, I know you can't speak for every teen or every student at your school, so do apologize about that. But do you think this is something that is like widely accepted? Oh, I got a stomach ache, go see the nurse. Or, you know what I'm saying? Is it like, hey, I'm just not feeling myself today. Everything's going wrong. Hey, go see Miss Henry. She's do you see that as natural? People see it as like it's not like you're saying, like brother here saying this, defeating the stigma? Do you see that there's a stigma when people have that, or it's not formulating, words not formulating right, but do you see it when they have it, it's easy for them to go to that, social worker, or do you feel like, nah, we're not gonna mess with her?
So I feel like it is an easy way to get down to where she or he is.
Is it accepted by your peers? Is what I'm saying. It's like this is
like
something
utilizing that resources. Like, give you a prime example. In my era, it was taboo for you to go see a counselor.
Yes, it was.
It was like, you going to go see a counselor, figure this thing out.
Yep.
And unfortunately, as men, we would grow up in some households. We would grow up, whatever issue you had, solve it.
Yep. Go drink some water, walk around.
What you mean you going to a counselor? You don't need no counselor.
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer in today's society, and even back then, that was wrong. Go see a counselor. It's okay. It's okay to see a clinician. So the question he's asking you, Karen, is it embraced among your peers?
Good, great way of framing it.
To go see a counselor, and if they go see a counselor and attend services, are they somewhat penalized or punished?
I don't think they're penalized or punished, and I think it's 50-50. So some people accept it and they just take it as not as if like something's like really wrong with me, and like how do I say this? Not that like something they think that something is wrong with them, but like they feel as if it's like just an open space for me to get it off my chest. But then there's other people that just like, no, that's gonna make it seem like something's really wrong with me and that I need help, and I just rather keep it to myself and I just get it off my chest just by like, because some people type in their notes like how they feel, or they write down, so they rather do that instead of going to a professional to get it off their chest and make it better.
I do want to say we do go to schools.
Okay.
We have been at Cass Tech. The counselor and the social worker in your school, I know personally.
Okay.
And they do have this conversation. Children do go to the counselor, and the counselor refer them to the social worker. And so it depends on what they say, what they disclose. They will call the crisis, dealing with crisis mobilization, and we have went out and helped de-escalate situations. A lot of those situations, something that happened at home.
Okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
And then the child came to school because they could not disclose it at home.
Right.
Something happened with the parents at home. When they got to school, they maybe said they didn't want to go home and they wanted to kill themselves.
Is this pipeline in every at least DPS school?
Yeah, I've been to a lot of schools.
What about the charter schools as well? Are the charters?
So basically DPS.
Just DPS.
Okay. Hamtramck.
Okay.
Yeah. I heard about their program. Yeah.
But I believe our Mayor Sheffield, kudos to Mayor Sheffield. She's doing a phenomenal job of trying to move that in the direction where everybody receives services.
Yeah, I like the way she's looking.
I love it.
That's from the ground.
That's my girl. I can't say that's my home girl, but as a mayor, I love the direction of doing it. And remember, Brian, me and you were talking last year before she took office. And what I said to everybody, I said, what you want to see is her heart. And I know her heart. Her heart is about helping those who are in need.
Yeah, that's the way she
And I love it.
Started out,
I love it.
from her first time.
The first 90 days.
Yeah, no. I was speaking like almost 10, 12 or more. How long was she serving on council?
Oh, yeah,
12, 15
absolutely.
years,
Yep.
something
I'm
like
like, you gonna say,
that. But yeah, so when she was, I don't want to say the least, but the least considered.
Absolutely.
She deaf, they didn't consider her. And,
Yeah.
And then she was doing the Occupy the Blocks. And I believe that's the right way to look, start seeing what is going on with those who are the least considered, and of our residents, and seeing what their needs were. And I know the honey was, hey, we're going to give you some shoes and some book bags.
But it was more to it.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes,
It was
sir.
a lot. Yeah.
So I definitely in agreement with you that I do appreciate her looking from the I don't want to say from the bottom up, but from the resident level on up to the high tier policy
so there's
makers.
such a disconnect in the homes
with
the parents. We need to get in the homes and have these conversations with the parents. The parents are suffering. The parents have went through trauma. We're dealing with a lot of
generational.
Generational. The ACEs. And when we think about our children, we can't just look at the child. We got to look at the parent.
Yeah,
and look at their grandparents.
Absolutely. Can you share? We got about 2 minutes, and I'm getting ready to wrap it up. But can you share the resource for the summit that you're having today at Russell Street Baptist Church?
So today it's a circle. It's a wellness circle.
Okay.
It helps you to identify your traumas, and you could talk to people that have trauma. You can hear their stories, and it makes you feel well.
Okay.
And it's 2120 Russell at 12 o'clock, and anybody can come. We're going to this. We also go to the senior citizen buildings on Saturdays too. But it's at 2120 Russell.
Okay.
Today at 12 o'clock. I hope to see you there.
And also the contact information for DWIN, we always like to do
1-800-241-4949 if you're in a crisis.
All right. And I want to close this out by saying this. Dr. Martin Luther King said, what counteracted hate was love. Love makes the difference. What you were alluding to earlier, Brian, what you was alluding to earlier when you're going in a mental health capacity situation, it's all about love.
It's all about love.
It's all about love. Detroit radio listeners, let's share some love. Share some love. Share some love. Share some love.
So we back here, I think, Memorial Weekend.
Yep, Memorial Day weekend. We'll see you Memorial Day weekend. God bless everybody.
Make good choices. Love you, Detroit.
All right.
You've been listening to